Can I even be heard? Okay, you can hear me. Is my video laggy? Tell me that. Tell me in the chat. Is my video laggy? Audio shouldn't be a problem. It's directly connected. It's the video, because frame rate is horrendous. You can see that screen just fine, I'm guessing, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it like it's horrendous. Yeah, gotta fix that. Alright, okay, since you're in there, just tell me if you can see all of this stuff. So I've got this slide up. Okay, so based on your picture, it looks like it's actually pretty decent, except for my face. Can you see this new? I've just flicked to a new slide. Can you see it? Okay, so now on my screen that I can see, it only just flicked. So it took like 5-10 seconds before I hit my keyboard and it actually came on. That's crazy. Like crazy slow. Yeah, fixtures for 2 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, there must be a delay. That's an issue. Just in case I flick over and then I start talking and then, like, I'm talking, but then the thing doesn't come up when I actually want it to. There's probably some delay, but this seems like a full delay. And you're seeing my video is also really slow. My CPU on my laptop is at 50%, so it's using half of its power essentially, by the look of it. Yeah, and I just got an error message from YouTube. Just wait 1 second. YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Yeah, okay. Alright, I'll tell you when it switches. So the next slide's going to be oh, hey Matthew. So this is very much a test stream. This stream might not exist on the channel if I delete it, but I've got a mate of mine helping me out. Alright, I'm going to do a switch to my next slide. I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. Alright, I just switched on my end. Yeah, we're just testing out. I wasn't sure how to make this private, so I was just like, I'm just going to start it, and then if it fails, I'm just going to delete it from the channel, but just looking to test some stuff out. But thank you for the nice comment, Matthew. I appreciate it a lot. No, SC Whisperer. I don't know about him. Nah, he's alright. Nah, he's really good. He's good. Alright. Yeah, Josh, help me out. I'm going to switch back to the 2 fixtures slide and just to let me know how long it takes on your end. All right, 3, 2, 1. Two seconds. Okay. 2 seconds is not that bad. 2 seconds delay is fine. Must be normal for a stream. Although on my end I can see stream status is poor. I will also admit it could probably be normally worse because I'm actually using I'm hotspotting my phone to my laptop. I've got such bad internet where I am. This would be awful if I tried to do it on my actual Wi-Fi connection. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that's really, really laggy. I could just not use a video. Yeah, Ethernet's not a bad idea. Yeah, I need to look into this. I think see what's viable, because I think the way it is at the moment, it's not going to be good. It comes up fine, so I can easily, like, that was easy in terms of actually flicking it from OBS onto YouTube. That was very quick. Just needed to get the stream key, put it into OBS, and come straight onto the channel. And so that was easy. 40 meters, even like the worst thing about where I am in the house, it's the router is literally opposite corner downstairs. I don't even know 40 meters would be enough. It would be enough, but there'd be cord running downstairs, up through the downstairs, up my stairs, up into this bedroom. It would be bad. I think what I probably need is a Wi-Fi extender. That might be actually a better option, and just get one somewhere upstairs to hook it up, because otherwise it's just bad. Yeah, 40 meters. 40 meters would be fine. I'm probably over exaggerating. It'd be definitely enough. But yeah. Okay, well. Yeah. But anyway, I think this is, if I can get this working, I think this is a much better way of going about it, though, honestly, because like I did these slides up. I'd have to what I would have to do is record, edit in iMovie, upload, all that kind of stuff. If I can just do live stream, all I have to do is make the slides and the thumbnail, and then I'm just flick through and I talk through what I was going to do anyway. I'm streaming, so it doesn't matter if I make a couple of errors. It's live. 3 people watching. It must be Josh and Matthew. Now it's back to 2. Okay. Maybe it counts me as one of them. How long has this been going on for? Almost 10 minutes. But yeah, so what I was going to do is I'm going to do something potentially on Bamford replacements, because I think that's going to be pretty useful, I think, just for the next day or so. And so I wanted to first go through teams, if you want a wildcard, or say if you're looking to wildcard soon, just look who might be the best 2-week punts. So you have, that's why the 2 fixture one, versus, if you've already wildcarded, or if you're looking for more long term, then you need to look probably 6 weeks in advance. And then from there, I just was going into a bunch of stats, so for some forwards, so if you want to have a look. Hey Michael, welcome. FYI, this stream is very, very much a test. My video's laggy, internet's poor. Just testing the waters to see, because I think I do eventually want to get into some live streaming. I think it's a good format, both for viewers and myself. It's a little bit easier for me to not have to edit and things. But thank you for playing FPL because of my videos. That's a good sign. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's a lot more strategy than Supercoach. Supercoach is I'd say it's a bit easier to manage because prices have just changed once a week. You've got a rolling lockout, whereas FPL, you have player prices are changing all the time. There's you have chips that you can use, so it makes things more interesting. Changes how you can play the game and stuff. So it's good to see that you're playing as a result. But yeah, Josh. So this is what I had up. So you'll be pleased to see one of your favourites is in this table. Powerline adapter. Yeah, honestly, I'm not good at with tech at all. I'm horrible with tech. So all these things that you guys are saying sound like great ideas. I just need to look into it and just do some research, see what's the best for my situation. But I really want to figure it out. So I think if I can figure it out, I'd be happy enough. Even if it's like half-hour streams, it's good. It's more efficient, I think, in general. And I don't mind actually chatting with people at all. Like, it's nice seeing people, Matthew and Michael. Yeah, Mopay's in there. What is he? He's 8th. So what I did was top 10 forwards, and obviously I filtered below 8 mil because it's Bamford's price range, and I sorted it all by expected points. So Antonio's like way on top. Pookie is actually really high. The problem is that expected points, because I think he's had one penalty, and penalties rate really highly because it's got a higher XG, which is why people who've got penalties typically will have pretty high expected points. So like Tony's up there, Pookie's up there. Chris Wood, my boy, who I'm thinking of maybe getting for the next 2 weeks, he's 5th. This is why I was thinking about him, because he's really, really high up. And his XG is not bad, 1.83. It's better than Max, who everyone's talking about. It's better than Tony, it's better than Bamford, Armstrong, Jimenez, like all these guys that everyone's talking about. I'm like, no one is talking about Chris Wood, and he's got Norwich game week 7. I'm like, he's like, I don't know if I'm trying to be too different for the sake of it, but could be a good punt. Yeah, anyway, this is what I did. Actually, I just noticed it's I know on my screen it looks like it was cutting off a little bit, but it seems like it's showing everything. And so this is just like all kind of key stats. So I guess for forwards, the main ones you're looking at would be XG, shots. So Antonio's XG is way, way higher than everyone else. See, Pookie's XG is very high, but he does have a penalty, which I think is about 0.7. So if you took that out, his XG would be then more around like 1.5. So it's a bit more in line with a lot of these other guys. Cody Ramsey, no mate. Chris Wood is not Cody Ramsey. Chris Wood is going to be Chris Messi. Antonio does have a penalty in there as well. That's right, but he did miss it as well. So those 30. So at the very far right, he had 39 points that he scored so far. If he got his penalty, remember that was a -2. He did get the assist, so I guess that nets it to +1. But it could have been +3. So it could have actually been a little bit higher. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I was looking at these stats because I was like, apparently Bamford could be for more than 1 week, which is why I'm thinking about selling, because I'm going to wildcard soon, so I'm like, there's no point in holding him, I think, even though the fixtures are good. So I was like, all right, if I'm going to wildcard game week 8, who could be the best to go for like 2 weeks? And I've already got Antonio. So then if I looked at the 2-week punt, Leeds is up there, but I'm not going to go for Rodrigo. I don't think he's good enough in my opinion. See, Wolves is up there, Southampton, Newcastle. So obviously Jimenez is like a definite shout, but he's still there. He wasn't in the top 10 expected points for forwards. He's in the second half there. Actually, no, sorry. I think he was in the top 10. I missed his name. But yeah, Palace, Watford, Leicester. So Burnley comes up mainly because of Norwich. So Watford, a few people have thought about like Josh King or Dennis, which is, I think it's a good punt. Newcastle and Leeds. Newcastle at home is as well. But yeah, anyway, this was the structure I was going with. I was going to go, all right, these are the guys if you want short-term punts. These are the ones for longer term. And then use these fixtures to decide. Surprisingly, I use Fantasy Football Hub, and the ticker says Newcastle is really low. Watford and Wolves for the next 2, and I've seen other ones have got Newcastle right at the top. I think it must be because they're thinking both games are away, and Wolves have been pretty decent defense-wise. That's why Newcastle's quite low, which is kind of like, I looked at that, I'm like, same max, I don't know. And then I saw the stats, and I thought, maybe he's not actually the best one to go for. And apparently Willock is out for Newcastle, so who knows how good their attack's going to be. 5 at the back. He's going to play 5-3-2. I don't defenders, like some of the top point scorers so far have been defenders. So, you know, if you've got a back five, if you play, like, imagine if you had a back five of Trent, Diaz, Rudiger, Cancelo, Alonso, and like Livramento, like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good back five. Yeah, so I look at that 2-week punt list. I'm like, oh, yeah, West Ham's up there. So Antonio, like, I mean, if you don't have Antonio, easy switch from Bamford. Like, that's the easiest transfer you'd make all season. I saw Crystal Palace, you know, like, see, this is about this ticker. Like, I kind of look at it, I'm like, I'm not sure how accurate I would see it because, you know, Palace are 4th, Brighton and Leicester. But then I look at Newcastle way down there with Watford, Wolves. I would say Watford and Wolves are better than Brighton and Leicester. Brighton are a solid defence. Leicester haven't been great, but they're still Leicester. You know, I think it's because they're 2 games are at home. That's why probably Palace is being rated higher. But anyway, we'll go back to the stats because I thought it's quite interesting looking at that because Southampton are very low because they've got Wolves and Chelsea. But if you look long term, they're really good. So someone like Armstrong could be good if you're looking to replace him. Like say here, you look at a 6-week view, they come up to 5th. Chelsea are way up on top. See Arsenal, but Arsenal strikers, you're not going for Aubameyang. And Lacazette's rotation. I wouldn't go for either of them, to be honest. Yeah, so when I looked at the stats, I was like, oh, Tony's got tough fixtures, so I'm not going to go for Tony. Wood, I think Wood is on penalties. Am I taking out Rafinha? Nah, see, Rafinha's it's a hard one. If he's only out for a week, I'd keep because he's cheap enough, and I think he's good enough to hold on to. Like you saw, Leeds fixtures are really good. If he was out for more than a week, I'd consider it because then, again, similar with Bamford, 2-week punt to someone, and then wildcard, and hopefully he's back, and then bring him back in. Michael, you picked up Rudiger with Shaw, Trent, Tierney, Livramento. Nice. See that? Yeah, that's a feasible back five this week as well because Southampton have Wolves, XG Kings, but they can't score a goal. So Livramento, and he's really attacking, so he's a good play. You know, I feel like Arsenal Spurs is going to be pretty tight. So and Tierney's always got attacking threat. Shaw, Aston Villa's good. Trent is Trent, and Rudiger. That's a good back five. The only problem I think with if you're having to play 5 defenders, like this is more long term, if you're playing 5 defenders every week, it's a little bit inflexible potentially. You know, like if there's a midfielder all of a sudden that crops up that you want to get on, you have to drop one of those defenders in replacement. Which, I mean, you can say that with any position, right? If a striker starts going large, you're probably going to have to drop a midfielder or a striker. I don't know, there's probably just some internal bias about playing 5 at the back. It just looks funny on the FPL page. Yeah, so these are the top 10 forwards. So Armstrong is good for shots. He takes a lot of shots. So that's the S column in goal threat. So 16 shots. Only Antonio has more in these top 10. And 11 in the box is pretty good as well. See, this is the thing about Jimenez. You can see there, he's scored 8 points and he's expected to get 20.6 because he's taken 14 shots, 13 in the box, but he's only had 1 on target. That's just like inefficient. And he's had, so if you look at goal threat, BC, so big chances, he had 2 big chances, which is a lot, like similar to a lot of these other guys. Again, Pookie 4, that's quite a bit. Wood has 3, same as Mopé, so I know Josh will love Mopé being up there. Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting when I started looking at this table because like shows you that there's like a lot of people are saying, oh, there's not that many good options at striker. I think if you're going for 2-week punt, there's enough. For long term though, there's not many I would go for out of this list. But for a 2-week punt, who does Pookie have? Sorry, I'm gonna have to flick back. They've got Everton and Burnley. See, actually that's not that bad. Everton not looking great. I guess both games are away. That's a problem for Norwich. We've got 5 viewers. Someone else has joined in. They must have the stream's going long enough. I'm sure someone looked at this laggy video and was just like, "No, I'm not having it." Anyway, I'm actually going to go to the second list. So this is the 10 to 20. So this is the next 10. There's not many names in here I'd consider, to be honest. Like you can see that Ings he's been overperforming. I guess 26 points from 19 expected. Jolinton, no. Wilson, no. King is interesting because I just don't know if him or Dennis is starting. Because King came on against Norwich and looked really good actually. I think he created I think he got the assist for Sar's second goal from the rebound. So he easily himself could have got a goal. Jordan Ayew, like Benteke, Che Adams. Like there's just not much on this second slide that I would think, except for King. Everyone else is either injured or just doesn't interest me as an option. So I might just go back to the Edward. Yeah, I did think about him actually. He doesn't obviously come up because he only played the 2 games, 2 or 3, and he's been coming off the bench. But yeah, Palace have what was it, Brighton and Leicester at home. Could be decent actually. What is he, 6.5 mil? I don't know. I've got a random obsession with Chris Wood. I don't know what it is. He's I've never owned him, and he had that crazy run end of last season. Josh, I don't think you were playing FPL end of last year, so you might not have seen, but he was just going on a ridiculous run. He scored 20 points in one game. I think he got a hat trick and a assist, and he was just scoring goals for fun. It was ridiculous, and he always does this, where he always manages to end the season with 10 goals. It's just about catching him. I'm just seeing Norwich at home. Norwich are horrible, and his stats are not bad. Yes, Leicester this week away is not good. To be honest, if I got him in, I'd be expecting 2 points this week. But it could be 20 next week. All about the Pookie party, I know. Look at these stats are good for Pookie. I'd say that goal he actually got against Watford, I think it was a great finish. Yeah, I wouldn't say that was easy. Just pinged it he just ran off the shoulder of the defender and straight in the back of the net. So yeah, Pookie party could be in effect. I think going for one of those cheap ones would help if if you're going to use that spare money. So say Bamford down to a Pookie, what's that? It's 2 mil, and if you went to upgrade, Simicast to Diaz, those are 2 good, 2 easy moves. Even for a hit, to be honest, I would maybe consider that, because Bamford's not playing, so you get 2 back from Pookie playing anyway. Simicast won't play, so if you say if you had to rely on Simicast to play and then you can upgrade to Diaz, I'd say that for a -4 this week, that'd probably be worth it. Townsend, I did think about that. Townsend, obviously he doesn't come up in this particular discussion because this is just forwards and Bamford replacements, but yeah, Townsend is so Norwich, for whatever reason, there's some stats, I can't remember exactly what it is, they are awful on their left hand side. They concede so many chances down there, so Townsend, who plays on the right for Everton, is probably going to do well. That's kind of the reason why I went for Sar the week before last as well. I knew I brought him in versus Wolves and he only got the 2 points, but I remember seeing that stat somewhere that he was going to that Norwich left side was horrible, and so I thought Sar plays on the right, and this should be good, and obviously it paid off really well. He got 15 points, and now he's got Newcastle, Leeds, and everyone's trying to think about how to get him in, and that makes me happy that everyone's trying to get him in. Yeah, so Townsend, I think Townsend has been taking a lot of set pieces as well, corners, so definitely has got potential for a double digit this week. Yeah, Pookie party with Lukaku and Antonio. Yeah, Lukaku's interesting. Obviously, he's not on this table because he's more expensive than 8 mil. But if you could do Bamford to Lukaku, you just do that, I reckon. That's even against City, just get him in for the Chelsea's good runs. Are you planning on 2 Chelsea defenders? Yeah, I think so. 2 Chelsea defenders or 2 Man City, I haven't decided. You could very easily play for it. I've thought of, I made a couple of wildcard drafts for game week 8 where I've got 2 Chelsea defenders and 1 City plus Trent, or I've gone 2 City, 1 Chelsea. The problem is that I think I'm not interested really in any of the Chelsea mids. Like Mount, I thought could be safe, but he's getting rotated. And I originally had a plan of doing, if I was definitely wildcarding game week 8, do like Salah down to Havertz, and then either do Bamford or Antonio up to Lukaku for game week 7. So then game week 7 I would have both Ronaldo and Lukaku. And then in game week 8 wildcard, I'd bring Salah straight back, because Salah's got City in game week 7, so I wouldn't captain him or anything. So I think that potentially could be a play. But then even, again, the Chelsea mids, I'm not too keen on now. So I think going to defenders from Chelsea, if you're looking to triple up, is probably the way to go. With City, I think you can go for one of them, like DS or Cancelo. And then I thought about potentially going with like a Grealish maybe on a wild card, just to kind of have that, maybe like that 8 million price point in midfield. Grealish looks pretty nailed. The problem is he probably hasn't been delivering for his price, but they've got a nice 3-game stretch from game week 8. So yeah, it could be an option. So I haven't decided. If I had to pick 2 Chelsea defenders, it would be Rudiger for sure, would be one of them, like 100%. And then it would be between Alonso and James. And at the moment, I'd probably go Alonso. What are the chances of Calvert-Lewin dropping back down to 8? Oh, it depends, I think, on his whatever FPL statistics says. That's usually the site that I use for price changes. Let's have a quick look just on my phone. He's on minus 97.5, so he could potentially drop 0.1 before the deadline tomorrow. But okay, Josh has actually just gone back in. Yeah, the thing is, I wouldn't completely trust FPL statistics, especially early in the season, because they're just still trying to calibrate, and they also they show all the transfers, including wildcards, but wildcards don't affect price changes on FPL. So that's one thing to consider. So you could have a lot of people, let's say, on a wildcard, maybe taking out Calvert-Lewin, hypothetically. It always depends. Like if you still have a new team, I would definitely be selling. In terms of if it's okay to sell before potentially the price change, it depends on what purchase price you had them for. Cavani, Richarlison and Wilson all looking like... Wilson is one I'm keeping an eye on, actually, because I owned him from the start of last season, actually, and he's one of those guys who just ticks along. If you just keep him in your team for long enough, he'll get you points. And so I'm just seeing if his price gets nice and cheap sometime later when Newcastle might have a good run of fixtures and he's back in the team, maybe get him in for a stretch. I'm surprised we're still doing the stream, Josh. I thought I was going to kill this after 5 minutes. Obviously, video's still lagging, but some extra people have jumped in and added some comments, so that's nice. Yeah, I might end it soon just because it's 11:15 and this is more a test, but obviously if you want to hang around, I'm more than happy. Wasn't doing much tonight except FPL. Greenwood to Grealish round 8. Yeah, game week 8. Let's have a quick look, actually. Oh, sorry. So yeah, that's when Manchester United start getting a little bit tougher. You've got Leicester, Liverpool, Tottenham, Man City. See, I think Leicester's still okay to keep Greenwood if he's still starting, because Leicester haven't looked the best. But you can see, yeah, Man City will have Burnley at home. And I think it's Burnley who notoriously City always seem to score like 5 goals against. They've got some record where they always beat Burnley 5-0 at the Etihad. It's some ridiculous record. I'd have to double check it. So you could definitely see, I think, a lot of goals for City there. See, City is even City's run from game week 8. It's not amazing. It's just that it's City. Burnley's obviously really good. Brighton away, I could see that maybe just being 2-0 to City. Crystal Palace at home, I think, is really good, so that could be a 3-4-0. But then it's United away, that's probably tight. So I'd only see from 8 to 11, 2 of those games maybe being like high scoring. So even a Grealish might not be worth it. But yeah, I would agree that Greenwood from then is not going to be great. Liverpool, Tottenham, City. So I'd probably move him on at least game week 9 at the latest. Like, I don't think you'd want him versus Liverpool. But whether it's for Grealish, I'm not sure. Someone who I have, again, this is like on a wild card. If you want someone around that 7.5 to 8 mil kind of price point in midfield, yeah, you can see Arsenal are very high up there in the fixtures. You know, Crystal Palace, Villa, Leicester, Watford from 8. You could go for like a Pepe. You know, if you want, like, I feel like that one midfield spot is like, it's a good area to have like take a punt on a player. Like, you can have, you know, 8-9 safe players that you're pretty set on. Just give yourself one player that you take a punt on, that you can do transfers, and you know, that's how you can maximize points, I think. Obviously, don't take unnecessary punts just for the sake of it, but you know, a calculated punt, if you want to call it that. Yeah, Chelsea's run is like, Chelsea, you need to get Lukaku by game week 9 against Norwich, because you have to captain him for that. And I don't see any other team that you'd captain like Liverpool have United. Hey mate, brother, where do you live? I'm in Sydney, Australia. So it's 11:15 at night here. We're about 21 hours from FPL deadline. This is not a deadline stream, this is a test stream, but it's it's evolved into me actually talking a little bit. I might just go back to the top 10 strikers list actually, given that's what I was originally going to be focusing my potential video on. I haven't decided if I'm going to actually do the video though. Maybe I'll just give my thoughts and then I'll clip it and put it up on like Twitter or something. Yeah, okay, if I had to give 4 recommendations. Firstly, I think whether you should sell Bamford or not. I think if you're wildcarding in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think sell him, because you can just wildcard him back, and we don't know how long he's going to be injured for. If it's just a week, fine, but if you pick someone on a short term, you'd hope that they have a good fixture as well in game week 7, so you don't have to worry about Bamford being back. And if it's any longer, then he's going to start dropping in price and you're going to miss out on points. And I think he's expensive enough that you can kind of get rid. So I think selling him is justified. If you're not on a wild card, or if you've already used it, it's a bit more difficult. I think I would still lean towards selling though. And then Antonio's top option, 100%. You can see all the stats are in his favour. If you don't have him this week against Leeds, like, he could easily get a brace. So yeah, 100% Antonio would be number 1. Number 2, I think to be safe, I would say Jimenez, because it's Southampton and then Newcastle in the next 2. You can see the underlying stats are really good. You know, he's taken lots of shots. He's the most creative out of any of these guys as well. 15. So KP column is key passes. It's like similar to chances created. So he's created 15, and he's also created 2 big chances as well. So he's got assist potential. You know, if anyone from Leeds can actually, if anyone from Wolves can actually score. And so I think Jimenez is probably going to be the safe option if you want to go for someone who's like also a similar price. Like, if you're, for whatever reason, you want to maintain that kind of price structure on your team. Number 3, it's tough. I think I would actually slightly favour Pookie over, say, Max, for whatever reason. I think his stats are better. So that's 1. I think his fixtures are actually better for the next 2. So let me just quickly flick back. So we have Everton, Burnley compared to Watford and Wolves. They're pretty even, actually. That's a tough one. yeah, I'd say those fixtures are basically equal. So take your pick. Pookie or say Max. I think I have some slight bias for Pookie Party maybe. If you're looking more long term, then I'd go Armstrong, because I think Southampton have a great run of games from game week 8. But he's got Chelsea next week, which is not ideal. But he's taking a lot of shots, so his underlying stats are pretty good. Should have got one the penalty for for Southampton last week against City. But then, I think my most fun option is Chris Wood. That's just me. Honestly, I have a feeling I'm going to get him. So I'll post my final team on Twitter tomorrow, before the deadline as well. So just so if anyone wants to. But yeah, so Wood is, it's just Norwich in game week 7. I think he can do, I think he can score a brace, and he's so low owned. I think it's 1.5% differential. Although to be honest, I'm not as concerned about that. He could be 20% owned, and I would still think about it. Go hopping. Let's see a team. You have defensive Trent, Shaw, Alonso, Livramento, Walker. That's different, actually. I haven't seen Carl Walker, and I'm guessing that's Carl Walker. But that's pretty good back 5. Midfielders, Damari Gray, Pogba, Townsend, Jota. Kovacic. I haven't seen Kovacic in many teams. I think it's probably a lot of people think he's a bit of a rotation risk. But he's got, 2 games on the bounce with returns, so that's not bad. I personally wouldn't get him, because I think there's probably better value in Chelsea going for the defenders and Lukaku over one of the midfield. But I understand, why someone might have jumped on him if he potentially hangs around the team for a little bit longer. And then he's got Antonio, Ronaldo, Lukaku. Yeah, your strikers are crazy good. That's probably the best 3 you can get. Yeah, not a bad team. So what would you play this week? You're definitely playing 3. Play 4. I don't even know what formation you'd be playing. Technically, you could play all 5 of your defenders, all 3 of your strikers. You'd play Gray against Norwich. Pogba you'd play because it's Villa. Townsend's got Norwich as well. Jota's got Brentford. Maybe you could bench Kovacic. 3-4-3. Trent, Shaw, Alonso, I'm guessing then. Gray, Pogba, Townsend, Jota, and then Antonio, Ronaldo, Lukaku. Yeah, fair enough. But if that's Kyle Walker, that's very expensive to bench. But I'm not sure if that's Kyle Walker. You can let me know. Yeah, Chelsea are playing at home. I think that game's going to be tight. I don't see more than a 1-1 or 1-0. It seems like that's been the scoreline between these two for most of the time recently. Between City and Chelsea, it's a 1-0 to mainly Chelsea actually the past few times. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still undecided if I should still go ahead with the video show. Maybe just instead I might just post this slide just to say potential Bamford replacements and say, give a ranking and say this is who I'd pick, and I'd say who I'm probably thinking of, which is Wood. And then just leave it at that instead of doing a full video and then editing it and stuff. We'll see. Alright, I'm gonna leave it there. I think this was a good test stream. Nice to see some people came in. I think I'll look in the back end, see how I can improve my internet, my laptop, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's a nice format. If I can just prep slides and we can just chat. You guys ask. I think it's also just way better for you guys if you ask questions directly. Like I respond to every comment, and I'm happy to always answer questions. So yeah, people jump in and ask questions, that's fine. I think it's better just you guys get the answers that you want. Especially, I think I definitely can say with confidence that the streams at the beginning, if we do get them up and running, won't have many viewers. So anyone who's in there probably will definitely get their question asked. It's not going to be like, thousands of chats coming all at once and I can't read all of them. I'll definitely be able to get to most people's questions. And then, if I bring up some slides and stuff that I might want to discuss, add some talking points, and then we can keep the stream for like half an hour, 45 minutes, hour, however long. I would probably cap it at an hour, I think. And in terms of how frequent I do it, depends. We'll see. I'd try to do it weekly. But yeah, anyway, this is a nice test. Thanks anyone who did come and watch. I think at one point we had max of 7 viewers, which I'm actually shocked because I thought this was going to be an absolute failure. But 7 people decided to join in, and I'm sure one of them dropped off really quickly because they saw the lag. But cool. All right, that's my thoughts actually. For anyone who, you know what? I'll leave this up. I'm not going to delete it. It's going to be super laggy, but it got my thoughts out around Bamford and things. I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to leave it. It's a legacy item. My first live stream on YouTube. So yeah, it's not going to get deleted. We'll keep it up for sure. It's 43 minutes, which is longer than I expected. But hopefully, and if anyone got value out of it, thanks. But I'm surprised if you did. But we'll leave it at that. All right, laters everyone.